it's not what the kids would say riz these days, but like charm and charisma and being able to have those things are like really important.
Yeah.
And there's this like likability factor that I think that they can't teach at schools and they don't teach at schools.
Welcome to the Coles Ventures Podcast.
Okay. God, I'm so excited. It's your first podcast ever.
First podcast ever. I want to make sure I don't look like I have to be careful about what I said. I can't say anything non-PC. I guess that's why.
You could.
Maybe that's why I haven't done podcasts.
The episode before, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this either, but yeah, she was like, can you swear on this podcast? And I was like, I don't know. And I was like, well, I guess it's my podcast. I was like, sure, why not? I just drop F-bombs. I was like, well, it's out there, so we'll see.
I'm not going to tell the little people story.
All right, we could. That'd be.
See, I already censored myself.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for coming on. I know we're kind of in between. We only have, I don't know however much time we have, but
all good,
we'll make it quick.
We'll make it good.
It's going to be awesome. So yeah, thank you for coming on. I'm very excited. I didn't even know that you were in town. So thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Yeah, it was a quick trip. I try to come to Spokane like once a year.
Yeah.
And
only once a year. And you come in like the worst time.
Okay, I'll tell you. Here's a quick funny story, whether this makes it or not. I was here about a year plus ago, and I bumped into the governor, Jay Inslee. And do you know this story at all?
No.
I was just traipsing around the Riverfront Park. Is that what it's called?
Yep.
So, and he was just there.
Okay.
And
as you do.
Sure. Yeah. So I said hi, I introduced myself, and he said, well, why'd you move? Why'd you leave Seattle and go to Boise? And I was like, oh, man. Well, Jay, partly because of you, buddy. But I was really polite. We took a selfie.
That's awesome.
Of course, I put it on LinkedIn.
Of course, have to.
But yeah, that was my last Spokane trip. And I'm up here for just 48 hours to do some lectures at Gonzaga.
You've had a very productive and exciting trip so far.
Yeah,
you've hit like all the highlights, honestly, of like if someone's gonna come in.
It really is my MO when I go to these. We're all kind of divide and conquer on the team, but I tend to travel a little more than most of my colleagues. And
I was gonna say you're always somewhere.
But I want to be home with my family, frankly.
Right.
I don't want to just be on the road to. I love my wife and kids. I love you guys. My wife and I have been married 21 years. We have 4 kids.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
I joke around. My marriage is old enough to drink. But like when I do travel, I really try to make it really packed. So like 24, 36 hours, lots of stuff. Mm-hmm. I'll be in West Hollywood next week. That's a 24-hour trip at a bougie hotel and just meeting people.
Where are you staying at?
It's called the Petit Hermitage in West Hollywood.
I stayed at the LA Athletic Club when I was down there. Nice. And I was like,
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's just fun, and you meet good people, and just we're doing so much at Capital 11, like so many different things that what I tell people is that there's a there in most conversations. Mm-hmm. It's just trying to figure out where it is.
Exactly.
So it's figuring out where I overlap with someone and then talking about that and having a good time meeting people and being my kind of goofy, quirky self.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, we can start with that, I guess, is like, because Capital 11 has many segments of what you guys do. Like, you're not just a PE, you're not just a VC, you guys do debt, you have like a car, like, I don't know all the things, but you guys do it all.
Yeah, it's a blast too. It's, the guys started the company, 15 plus years ago. Dave and Travis, they're both local Idahoans. So when I moved to town 4+ years ago, I didn't know a soul. Yeah. Like when we left Seattle and moved to Boise.
So you didn't have this job or know them when you moved. You just said, Boise looks cool, we're going.
Yeah, there was a little more behind it than that, but not much more. Like, frankly, I was working in investment banking in Seattle, a boutique firm.
Okay.
I resigned from that in the spring of 21. We sold our house. We lived in Bothell.
Nice.
And then we waited for the kids to get out of school, and then we just moved to Boise that summer.
Yeah.
And didn't have a job lined up, didn't have friends or family there. It was like a literal leap of faith.
That's awesome.
And it's worked out great, but no, I didn't know the guys there.
That's so funny.
I had kind of when I give lectures at colleges, I talk about all my adages, and one of them is crawl, walk, run. Mm-hmm. So when I moved to Boise, my idea, my strategy was just build as many crawl relationships as possible. Yeah. And then kind of fight against my propensity to over-engineer things. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to meet people for the sake of meeting them. I had been a Washingtonian my whole life. Yeah. And I'm just going to meet people, build relationships, and just see how they naturally, kind of organically manifest. So Capital 11 was one of those, and then it's turned into what it is now.
That's fantastic. I just started listening to a book called The Subtle Art of like not giving a F.
Yeah.
Have you read or listened to that? Yeah.
Yep.
And I've barely touched it. I'm on the first chapter, but like the first chapter is like kind of all about that. That's like, if you want to do something, like have conviction in doing it, but like don't force unnecessarily like, relationships that aren't going to manifest in anything. Like, do your best, but then like let stuff roll, how it's going to roll.
And we all have our own bent and things, right?
Yeah.
Like I think having self-awareness to see, okay, what's your proclivities? Where you have tendencies to do something? For me, I know that like over-engineering in the past at least has been mine. So I was very focused to not do that, and it's been great. So book recommendation too. There's a book, because you brought up books. Savior Asks is a book that I read about a year ago. And the whole premise of that was don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
You
it's
know
like
those people. Everyone knows like,
They're
guys,
just
only hit you up.
and it's very transactional, right? They're like, okay, well, I'll do this for you, but you need to do that. So the whole premise of the book is like, okay, as you build a relationship with people, like really focus on making many kind of deposits into that relational piggy bank before you even suggest a withdrawal.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the strategy that I've kind of employed, but it's a really cool book. So I'll give that one a shout out.
Yeah.
I'll do another book shout out. On the way flying here yesterday, I started reading. It's something like talking to strangers or like perfecting, like something about conversing with strangers, and how as a society we have rules that it's like, okay, there are different things where you're allowed to talk to strangers, and then other ways where it's not appropriate.
Yeah.
Like I was like civilized disassociation or something like that was the term. But the book it's really interesting. It's talking about just like we should be talking to more people we don't know, because you don't know what those doors could open up.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be a little more intentional about even just randomly talking to folks.
I like that. Yeah, I heard something a while ago that was like, give some random person you don't know a compliment every day, even if it's small. Like I was at the grocery store yesterday and I had on like the same shoes as this one girl, and I was like, hey, nice shoes. And she's like, oh my God, thank you. And just like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know if that
I
affects
kind
you
of want to see what
all.
shoes you're wearing now, though.
Well, I got the loafers
dude,
on
you're
today.
not even wearing pants. This is weird.
Something you said.
So this is how you roll here.
Now we're on that side of the podcast spectrum.
I've already ruined it. You're trashing this episode. No, I agree with that premise, though. There's like the law of reciprocity too. Just like if you smile at someone, they're more like smile back at you. Yeah. And there's that mirroring. So give someone a compliment, whether you get something back or not. Like why not, right?
Right. No, for sure. Okay, so you moved to Boise. You have no plan. I mean, what for a lot of people, that's kind of the dream. I'm like, what you've done is like almost textbook example of like what some people is what's stopping them from moving somewhere, from stopping them from like taking that next leap, because it's that scary, because you don't know that it is. Yeah. It's always going to work out. So I guess kind of as someone that's done it and has successfully done it, what would you like? What was that path like? What did you start off doing? I mean, what did that look like?
It's a really good question. And when I had told my Seattle friends that I was endeavoring to leave and move to Idaho, one of the common responses I got was, wow, I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
And I was surprised by that, because it was like this assumption that I had it all figured out. That like, oh, well, I wish I could do that. It's like, well, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like this could end horribly. This could be a really bad idea. But my wife and I, we both had enough conviction that it was the right decision to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's worked out. It's been fantastic. The kids are happy.
Awesome.
We have a good community, but it could have not worked out. And I just think some people get entrenched and they're just like, oh, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And it's maybe learned helplessness is maybe too far of a term to use, but a little bit like that, where it's like, I can't do that even if I wanted to. And it's like, well, you can, you just choose not to.
Right.
And you those limited beliefs that you have. So, like I said, it's worked out fantastic. It could have not though. So
for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. And then you now are, and forgive me if I screw up your title, head of, I don't know, private equity.
It's a long title. It's a long title. So
titles are kind of overrated.
Yeah,
I feel like titles.
I think so too.
At this point in time, it's like, this is kind of what I do. You know me because I do this.
So
stuff.
when I go to these different ecosystems too, like I'm kind of getting this moniker of like Boise Brian. So
Boise Brian.
And I lean into it, and I'm far goofier than you could ever realize. My 12-year-old came up to me the other day and she was like, Dad, I think you're the craziest person I know.
She's like, you need to relax. Like,
I was like, honey, I probably am. Like, but yeah, to answer your question though, actually, what was your question?
What was the question? Title and head of,
title,
what do you do?
So kind of that crawl, walk, run with Capital 11 was, at least I met them. I was a strategic advisor for a few weeks, and then maybe even a month or so. And then it was like, hey, be a venture partner for us, our venture portfolio.
Sure.
So then I did that for a number of months, and then it was, hey, be a chief investment officer. So that's a cool title and everything. Sure. But in some ways, as we've evolved and added new things, in some ways it's too broad of a title, and in other ways it's too narrow of a title.
Okay.
So recently we changed that to, there wasn't a good change, but it's head of private equity joint ventures, and M&A
Honestly,
advisory.
there's no way I would have gotten that.
Yeah, so it's three
I
different
got a
things.
third of
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
so, you
but
know,
that's
close
okay.
enough.
I don't. That's one of my flags actually when you meet someone, if as they introduce themselves as their title rather than like who they are,
Not
what
their
they do.
name at all. You're like, hi.
Oh, I'm the CFO. Like, it's like, okay, that's fine. That can be your
Yeah.
identity, but like, I'm not
Cool, dude.
introducing myself as I'm Brian, the head of blah blah blah.
Right,
Like,
right.
I'm Boise Brian.
Right. That's awesome. Okay. And so I think you said an important point there, which I think a lot of people often miss when they're looking for a new gig. It's like, you're not gonna just go somewhere and immediately like get the role that you're gonna get, right? Like, you started as kind of a strat advisor because you liked it, I'm assuming. And then that went well. So then you kind of move up. And I mean, I think a lot of people miss that as they go somewhere or they're trying to get something and they just want it all right away. And it's like, well, if you come at it from the lens of, I'm doing this because I enjoy the work, you know, I enjoy the people I'm around, the company culture, all that stuff, then it doesn't really matter your title or your role. I mean, all that. You're excited to just be in the ecosystem.
I agree with that. I think just the concept of delayed gratification is harder and harder for us.
Oh, 100%.
To get as a society. I mean, I don't want to act like I have it all figured out because I don't, but
Sure.
I had the benefit of selling our house and moving to Boise with like plenty of runway.
Yeah.
So I'm not independently
That
wealthy,
too.
but it's like, okay, like we have enough with this to just a couple of years, don't need a job per se.
Yeah.
So I could take my time to intentionally build relationships to kind of ease into things. Another one of my adages is like this core satellite approach. It's actually an investment term, but when I moved to Boise, my plan was to build a bunch of satellites and then see which one became my core.
I like that.
Variety is a spice of life, right? So it's
Yeah.
nice to do different
Yeah.
things. So then, I mean, Capital 11 has become my core,
Sure.
which has been fantastic. But I had I don't like this word. I'll say I had the privilege of having sold my house though and being able to have that. Whereas a lot of people, they wouldn't be in that spot
Right.
where they're like, hey, I need to find a full-time job.
Yeah,
I need to
that's
work.
true.
So
That's true.
I had that benefit for really the first time in my life. And I took advantage of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then, I mean, going from the investment banking side of things to now doing, I mean, similar but different. How has that kind of looked? How do you like that better? How do you like it worse? I mean, there's a lot of people, probably a lot of listeners out there, especially, you know, college students aspiring, you know, young in their career, that is like, they hear investment banking or private equity or venture capital and they're just like frothing at the mouth. You know, that's like dream gig. Like,
I mean,
just get me
it
in
really
there.
does sound
the,
cool.
The
right?
title sound, you know, when I tell people that, I'm like, oh, what do you do? It's like, well, I work for a venture capital firm. They're like, oh, and they're like, just gonna lose their minds. And I'm like, no, like, it's cool, but it's not like, you know, you see on TV that's like, oh, $1 million, like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it is a blast though. I think for me, I have the technical and analytical skills, but I really enjoy the people side of things.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be as fulfilled or as happy if I was just crunching numbers in a corner.
Yeah.
But conversely, I wouldn't be as happy if I'm just out there only shaking
Right.
hands and kissing babies.
Right.
My colleagues would say I do that most of the time
You're
now.
like, Brian, that's all you do.
But I mean, I get the benefit of finding opportunities, evaluating them, post-investment, sitting on the boards of some of them as well, and then actually moving the needle and helping them like post-investment. So that is really fulfilling and gratifying. And then I just have this this other component of just being able to build relationships. And it could be raising LP funds for any of our funds. It could be co-investor relationships, other private equity firms or venture capital firms that we co-invest alongside. And then just finding opportunities either to acquire on the PE side or to invest on the venture side. So it's fantastic. It's a lot of fun. The M&A advisory business, we just launched that at Capital 11 not even a year ago.
Okay.
And so that was pulling from my past of doing investment banking. And one of the things when I moved to Idaho, I was surprised at the lack of M&A, just talent and acumen in general. So, I mean, there are lots of companies, and there's this fun little alliteration called the silver tsunami. Baby boomer business owners retiring, needing to sell their businesses. The youngest boomer turned 60 last year. So, I mean, that's happening in every state. So in Idaho, it seemed like there was a lack of service providers being able to come alongside those business owners, aging out, wanting to sell, not passing on to the next generation. So we launched that last year. We hired a great guy to run that effort, the day-to-day. We've built up a really strong like analyst team. And that's just another thing that we're doing at Capital 11. So it's exciting. I feel like we can own Idaho, but we have a number of clients that aren't Idaho based already. So that's the M&A component just adds another layer where it's not us deploying capital and waiting for that to grow and have an exit. It's like, okay, we are now have clients and we're providing a service for them. And from a revenue standpoint, that's fee income coming to the firm.
And how do you, I mean, given that you're kind of overseeing all of this, how do you split your time between each division?
Yeah, there's not a real math to that, because there's still like the venture component too of Legacy. We've done 80 venture investments. We're fundraising for Fund 3 right now. We have a lot of people that are like dedicated on the venture side, but I'm certainly still like helping with that. The private equity side, there's really just 2 of us on the team on that. So there's someone, my director of PE, who does a fantastic job, but she is fully in PE. That's all she's doing. Mm-hmm. So, I have to lean in on that, not because of her lack of abilities, just because there's 2 of us.
Yeah, right.
So as we grow and invest and acquire companies, like there's the oversight of that. There's the governance aspect of it. On the M&A advisory side, I try to be, assisting with processes and stuff, but really the goal, me, is trying to be a rainmaker, frankly, building relationships and then kind of throwing that over the transom for the team to focus on. And joint ventures, which we haven't talked about as much, it's kind of a newer type of thing where it's like, okay, there's opportunities for us to meet people that it's not necessarily us acquiring or investing in an idea, but pooling resources together and creating a new business line and creating a true joint venture. Yeah. So we did one of those last month. We're looking to do another one in the next quarter or so, which are a completely new business line. Yeah. So being the head of that is cool because it just goes back to what I said earlier, like having conversations with the folks, like there's some overlap, there's a there. It's just trying to figure out what it is. Yeah, for sure. So I don't have a good answer to how I split my time. I'm kind of fluid with it. And that's great.
And I'm sure it ebbs and flows. Some days the M&A side might be heavier, and some days you're doing venture deals, and that's more top priority or whatever. In different divisions, I'm sure there's like different key points you're looking for in each of these. But maybe if we're looking at the PE side of things, given that you're kind of the one of 2, which is crazy. What are you guys looking for? What criteria are you looking for? Is it, you're looking mainly geographical? Is it, size of company? What? And then, I guess given that, I feel like silver tsunami is becoming more of a mainstream term. How are you guys seeing that affect how you guys operate day to day?
Yeah, no, it's great. It's so I think in concentric circles is what I tell people. So that also kind of lends well with our investment strategy. So Idaho first, Intermountain West next. We'll call Pacific Northwest in that too.
Sure.
And then the rest of the country. Us. Yeah, well, it's Idaho is both part of the Pacific Northwest and the Intermountain West. Right. So we kind of have both of those. And then I always learn about the inland Northwest. Like I remember when Sky first told me that term, I was like, inland Northwest, are you making up stuff? Yeah. And then you fly into Spokane and you see the sign that says inland Northwest.
That's always been so funny to me because to me, because I'm from Spokane, I've been hearing that all my life. And so when I talk to other people and they're like, what is that? Like, that's not a region. Yeah, what? And I'm like, this is like pretty common, no? And it's like, so it's funny to hear somebody be like,
and I'm a lifelong Washingtonian, right? I had not heard that term up until like 2 years ago. So. But yeah, so geographically, like there's a lot of concentration in what we do on the Idaho side, but we're not too constrained on that. Okay. So from a private equity standpoint, I don't want to get in the weeds on this too much, but there's something called search funds, and that's where you basically pay usually some MBA out at Stanford or Harvard to go find a company to search for something, and then they usually have a 2-year window, and then you acquire a business, they're at the helm of it, and you own it, they operate it, and all this stuff. We don't have a search fund, but I call it like a scout model. So we have maybe a dozen or so scouts out there, which aren't MBA kids. It's operators that have ran a business before, have domain expertise in that. They want to buy a business. They just don't want to do it on their own. Yeah. So rather than me find an opportunity and then try to figure out who's going to operate it, I want to be as efficient as possible. So those folks are out there trying to find a deal, bring it to us, and then we could see if we could architect a win-win way for us to invest alongside them. Yeah. We're usually a minority equity spot at that point, but we're leaning on their expertise. So I'm not a single point of failure. It's like, oh, well, we can only acquire these types of companies because Brian knows that space. I no longer become that like bottleneck, and it's relying on those folks. Yeah. So there's no industry focus per se, right? Because it's based on the industries and the expertise that those scouts have had.
That makes sense. As you kind of, you're here, you've done a lot of talks at Gonzaga. When you're talking with college students, what's like
my jokes did not go over well yesterday. I'm hoping tonight when I give my last lecture that some of them fly better.
I'm sure. What is your advice for them? What are the most common questions coming? Because you have a college kid.
I do. Yeah. Thank you for making me sound old.
Well, a freshman, right? You just started.
No, it's weird having a 20-year-old. He's awesome. He's at Boise State.
Awesome. Go Broncos.
I want to help out Boise State as much as possible. Yeah. And I'm on the board of NNU, which is a smaller school, Northwest Nazarene University. So I have a heart for college kids. And my oldest is a college kid, and my next kid will be going to Boise State next year too.
Nice.
So
Wow. Double.
she's sticking around.
That's
so
awesome.
then we have 2 more to go after that. We'll see. We'll see if we can. What's after the hat trick? What do you call 4?
It's just 4. Congrats.
Grand slam?
It's like too much. Like just stop. You know.
Trifecta, hat trick, but there's nothing after 4.
Done.
So
It's like stop showing off, Frank. Come on,
man,
we get it.
there has to be a good joke in there somewhere. I'll think about it.
Pull it back. We'll edit it in.
Oh, and then
Like nailed it.
let's see, the Gonzaga, and really all these colleges. Like especially when I talk to seniors, I'm asking them, do you have a job lined up? And I'm surprised. It seems like this day and age, March, April timeframe, these kids are about to graduate. Like 10, 20% of them have a job lined up.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised at that. And it seems like the path that these kids go down now is they graduate, they take the summer off to do whatever, and then they're like, oh, I'll kick that can down. I'll figure out post-summer what I'm going to do. So I tell them that I don't think that's a wise decision. Everyone has their own reasons for different things, but I say, like, man, you're in this motion of going to school, you're productive, and it's just to not have a job lined up, it's just going to make life harder for you.
Yeah.
So that's one kind of words of wisdom that I provide. I also really hammer on like LinkedIn and just the power of the network. Like we've already established that I'm old, but we'll hammer that fact that LinkedIn didn't exist when I was in college. So it's so powerful to as a college kid say like, hey, I'm interested in XYZ industry, company, reach out to people on there. Just hey, I'd love to have an intro chat with you. I'd love to take you out to coffee. And some people will say no, some don't respond. But I mean, just it's uncomfortable, it's awkward. But I also tell these kids like, hey, you're in the minor leagues right now. Like if you mess up, like who cares? You could have the worst coffee meeting with someone in the world, but it doesn't matter. So like just put yourself out there, do things that scare you. And it'll make it easier, and you'll get better. You'll be able to hone those soft skills, and that's some of the advice that I give these kids.
Sure.
Whether they take it or not, I don't know. But I'll say that again tonight when I talk at the investment bank. I'll just say, hey, this is really important stuff.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's a point that's hit hard enough in college. Like they're there, and the professors are very worried about how to pass, stats, whatever. But no one's really. There should be like a networking course or like a job hunting 101 or like something.
I hear you. I mean, it's just soft skills in general. Like I always talk about like skill transferability. Like it's something that like, yes, it's going to help you professionally, but it'll help you personally too. It's going to help you in your future marriage, being a parent, like just with friends. And it's not what the kids would say riz these days, but like charm and charisma and being able to have those things are like really important. And there's this like likability factor that I think that they can't teach at schools, and they don't teach at schools, but that doesn't mean that any of us can't learn this stuff. I think on that note too, people, they over-index on technical skills. And what I mean by that is like, it's so important, like pounding in, like, you need to learn this, you need to learn this, you need to learn this. But we're also in this day and age where it's like an information, like just overload age. So none of us have an excuse not to be conversant on anything, frankly. Like if what I also share this with kids too. I say, if you had like a really, really important meeting in 24 hours to talk to someone about cybersecurity, like you could get up to speed pretty quickly. You could listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos, read a book, like read some blogs, just whatever. Like you could probably within a 24-hour time frame become like top 10%.
Right.
And it's just like we're living in this world now. So I think skills are important, and it's important to have that knowledge and that expertise, but it's also like readily available at our fingertips. Anyone, like the access to that is so like hone your soft skills. It's going to help you out in life. I feel like I'm droning on and on about that.
No.
Hone your soft skills, and I'm just not doing a good job with my soft skills.
As far as your mantra for the crawl, walk, run kind of life circle, is that what you teach to college kids, or like what's kind of your, I guess, in the specialty of M&A and private equity VC, that's probably a little bit different than if you want to go into like sales or what. I mean, it's all kind of the same, but it's like it's more specialized. So it's gonna be a little bit more difficult to
get your
foot in the door.
So I sold Cutco knives in college.
Awesome.
And it paid for my college. Like it was a fantastic experience for me. And but I'm all about what skills can I learn at X that I can then bring to Y. And for me, my biggest fear out of college, I went to Seattle Pacific University, small Christian school. So not a marquee name by any means.
Right.
But my biggest fear was being pigeonholed. I didn't want to have a job right out of school and it be very, very, very niche and narrow focused. And then 3, 4, 5 years later, I don't want to do that field anymore, but that's all I knew.
You're kind of stuck.
So I turned down like sexier jobs because of that. Like one was a foreign currency trader at Russell Investments. It, like out of school would have been very good money, especially back then.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, FX trading is very narrow.
Very niche.
And what I tell these kids and what I try to tell my kids is like, you don't know, like very few of us have this linear career path.
Yeah.
And so you're going to mix it up. You're going to change careers probably multiple times. So you might think you want to do marketing or finance or venture capital, but 20, 30 years from now, you're probably in a different industry completely.
Yeah.
So focus on general, broad opportunities where you can get skills that are still transferable.
I love it. Okay. I know you're tight on time, so I'm going to let you go. Won't berate you with any more questions, but I really want to appreciate.
No opportunities to throw more jokes in or anything?
Well, we could, this is the editing phase. We can just like toss them in. But no, thank you so much for taking some time. Really appreciate it. Do you have any like closing remarks? Where can people reach you if they want to get in touch with you, learn more about Capital 11 and your story?
Yeah, I'd say it's saying I'm prolific on LinkedIn is probably.
I would say you're prolific.
That's prolific sounds like a.
If you put that in your little like skills and thing, I will like sign off on that. Be like Brian Jorgenson, prolific.
I'll change that as my title.
A LinkedIn influencer. That's what
I do like. I try to be. I try to post, but they're obviously. I'm not that fancy on there, but. To answer your question, like finding me on LinkedIn, connecting with me, messaging, that's a way for people to reach out.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, Brian, thank you so much for
Thanks
coming
for having
on.
me, man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.